Yeah, party people. All right, here's a short part two, just to go over things. The big thing tonight is China CPI comes in an hour and a half, and could drastically change things. As of right now, US 500 uh, tapped that bottom that we got pre-market on Friday, held. To me, at least on the 10-minute, it looks like it is making a head and shoulders. The nine's trying, they're dip buying there right now, as you can see. We'll check it out at the end of the video in 5 minutes here, or 10. One thing that caught my eye is, even though we sold off late Friday, the NAMO spiked up. Biggest thing all week is seeing this. Now, we don't want it to go higher really, because trading just becomes worse and worse and worse after that. There's so many setups across the board. Solar likes to run, or clean energy rather than solar, this time of year. So again, ENPH was the talk of the town last week. Had that, but obviously sold off end of day. Oxy, I like how the daily 9 is curling up. Everything looks good. The only thing is the stop down here. I'm gonna keep Oxy on watch. The reason I'm watching KRE, I know that we got bank earnings coming starting this Friday. The fact that it held a 9 on that sell-off Friday is pretty interesting to me, and this indicates a bunch of things. There's clearly a rotation going on in the market. I still like FedEx, possibly into here. We'll see when earnings comes around. Oil, I mean, it's got some movement. I know that the Fed does not want oil to go up. That's my biggest problem with it here. And after it, was in this wedge for the early stages of the year and then dropped out, I remember we had that crazy gap up on some OPEC news, but after that, obviously, it sold off. So it closed over the 89 MA on the daily, which is nice and all. But the weekly still, not the 9's not even over the 21. But we're getting some green divergence. Bitcoin has done nothing this weekend whatsoever. It's trying to hold 30 right now. Again, I'm watching US 500. This is very interesting what they're doing. I think they're going to retest this level here, and that's going to be the decider. But again, I wanted to zoom out onto the daily so that you can see my trend line and why I have it right there. It pretty much follows the 21 daily, but it's from the bottom last Tuesday, touches right there on the bottom of Thursday. So I'll be watching this trend line very, very closely. And if we break, we're going way lower. Now, as far as seasonality, I do see a deep, not only on other charts, but also on this guy here from CPI. So, but it looks to be a viable dip, followed by a, pretty sizable rally. Same thing end of the month. But it is going to be choppy, and clearly we have a bunch of Fed speakers, and we have CPI, and the whole seasonal chart looks really choppy. So we'll see what China's CPI does. This forecast is really low, and I mean, hitting that would be absolutely crazy. And if that happens, oh my goodness, we rip I just think it's too low, and I don't know why the market's pricing that in really. That's very interesting to me. Um, the Dixie, it's trying to put in a small reversal there on the hourly. The daily, to me, it looks like we're going lower. We're under everything. Everything's pointing down. This is going to be very interesting this week. Again, if we go under that 9, we're definitely going to the 21, and then you have a giant volume shelf there on QQQ, and then we will see. I'm actually gonna pop that in there as well. Pretty deciding trend line short term right now. Again, China CPI can change everything, but let me bring this over. This is what I have on watch and why. Carvana, obviously, because I mean, that daily volume right there is absolutely insane. The MACD is ready. I mean, this just, or that's the monthly, sorry. Here's the daily, but same thing, we'll probably go for it. It just, you know, it had those 5 down days. We had the trend line there because we were in it that day, but then it dropped, so I kind of didn't watch it, and obviously I played it a little bit on Friday. That is huge, 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 huge. So I'm gonna keep that on watch. Apple I watch because that's what the boys like to play, and basically same thing here. If it doesn't hold a 9 here on the daily, we're going down here to 186. Same type of setup actually as Carvana, and can run whenever it wants to run. Has to hold this trend line on Monday for me to even entertain. Why? Because it's on the 21 of the daily. UPST has a mind of its own. Gotta keep an eye on this if it decides to go or not. Not the best looking chart, but again, it can do whatever it wants. It's broken that, you know, when I was traveling and stuff, we were playing this 4-hour uptrend, obviously broke that, but I'm still gonna keep it on watch. Tesla, yeah, well, that's not Tesla, that's Baba actually. Why did you do that? Obviously on watch. Maybe that was divine intervention. Huge day on Friday. It's up to pretty much the Chinese CPI if this play continues, and the ball is kind of in China's court here, because not always, but China does kind of front run the not that they're in symbiosis or anything, but it will show if this is going to be a double top here, and we absolutely skyfall. Then we do that here too in the States. But if that CPI is cool, I would imagine that Bill also cooks not only chop suey but burgers, as you know. AI head and shoulders in play, which means we could target 44, and if that happens, you usually also runs with it. Nvidia can also do its own thing, and on Friday, I mean, it did hold 425 even with that gross sell-off, but again, it was one of those names. It should have sold down to 420 but didn't, and somebody was nibbling on it after hours, as you can see. We already did Carvana, right? No, this is, why is it doing that? I don't know. Pisses me off when it just changes tickers on me randomly. Microsoft, another one that's obviously going to be leading this tech. The daily still holding the 9. So I mean, the sell-off wasn't like end of the world shit on Friday, although irritating. Amazon, please don't change on me. Oh my god, how irritating is this? Amazon Prime Day coming up. Obviously, that's why I'm in it, targeting that gap that it has now rejected off of almost 4 times. Technically only twice. So let's see. Okay. Main watch this week, not LMT. I don't know why this is doing this, but it's SQ. Why? Because I took 500% on it on Friday, and also it didn't shit the bed as hard as the rest of the markets. So this could very well still be a cup and a handle. You know, in my previous video, I showed you that IWM didn't do a round trip on Friday. LMT, now I'm gonna get a little bit political here, but when you ban cluster bombs for everyone, and as you should, because like, I mean, that's just terrible. But then you're like, you know what? We're gonna give them to Ukraine. That's kind of messed up. So clearly you have some type of head and shoulders thing going on here. You got the 21 above the 9 on the day. Yes, we played this pump. Why did we do it? Well, because we got a buy signal on the daily, that's why. But you know that I also sold mine into close on Thursday because we couldn't take this level. Earnings coming up, but again, if this can come down to like the 450s again this week, I'm gonna buy some into earnings. I don't think they're gonna have a shit earnings, you know what I mean? Netflix, not really on my watch. Oh my god, Home Depot. Okay, let's do Home Depot real quick. Home Depot, again, I said I'd be a buyer around 300. I like this move. I do not like that it's under this trend line, and it's under the 9, and it's under the 21, so I'm not looking at it. Plus, because of that, you know, pretty sizable puke from 312, this unless it snaps back above this trend line, I'm not interested. What was I gonna look at before Home Depot? I forget. All right. Another interesting name I am in. Sure, let's do PayPal. I have PayPal on watch as well, just because it's puked so much and SQ is showing strength, so maybe this can keep doing it too. I don't forget what that was. Anyways, Hood, my number 1 watch of the week. And I'm probably gonna, depending on the market, I'm gonna load a lot of 12s early, but also 11s. The cons on this stock are something else to navigate, as I'm sure you're aware, and you gotta take profit, and you gotta be in and out and all that good stuff. But if you get a good pump, your shit juices hard. The meat, again, like Carvana Friday, Beyond Meat Friday, so all these quote-unquote shitty stocks are in play, or at least on watch. If we see them sell off sharply into open, then no. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm looking at. Just wanted to go over so you see where my thinking is at. And now, as promised, let's check back on this. Looks to be doing this head and shoulders, has to hold this yesterday low to be valid. Not the best setup, but again, if we can now bounce here soon up to here, and then in an hour when China comes out, obviously this can go up. If not, if this fails to hold this trend line, we're minimum looking to go here, which, let me pull up SPY here on one of these guys. And then you can see what I mean. So if that fails, we're not only going down to here, well, first the 21, as I mentioned in my video, if that holds, we're going for a double bottom here, and then if that doesn't hold, we're gap filling. So this week's usually very bullish. Obviously that close on Friday was anything but bullish, but again we have that still valid, and 50-minute on SPY and QQQ show insane DP buying. The flow came in on QQQ, not on SPY whatsoever, so that could be a rotation thing. But yeah, you also on the, I don't know why it's not loading, but on the 1 minute you could also tell, as I mentioned or showed in my previous video, that there is buys on those. So I don't know why this is not loading right now. That's it for now. I will update after Chinese CPI comes in. At minimum, you want this trend line to hold. Right now, not looking too good. That was a hard resistance there. And it's also under this level, which is not nice. So what could possibly save it here is a really ugly looking double bottom or a inverse head and shoulders. Chinese CPI will dictate into open. So I'm mostly cash. Why am I looking at all these shitty stocks? Because they ran separate from the indices that completely puked on Friday. And there's many names. Obviously, if there's a put play on, I'm gonna play puts. But again, I don't think that, can we get a pullback? Yeah, of course. I mean, that's no secret. But we're still in a uptrend as long as it holds this. Okay, below that you're gonna get your double top, and we can even retrace down to here. Do I think we trade under this level this year? No, I don't. We've, we caught that, and then we caught the rebound, and we've been playing it all the way up, and it's been really strong. Last time it touched the 21, it bounced. It should. If it doesn't, then we're in for a good dip. I still think we get that dip, but again, it could be that we do something like this. And we come down to here and go up here, and we start calling this a new April, and then by that time this has creeped up so much that we get a pop that's then sellable. Again, this would be that August rip. We always get an August rip, and then down September, October before Santa Claus comes through. And it's very possible that we do something like this, keep a range here, just like we did in April. So that's why playing individual names becomes so much more important. All right. Love yourself, love your family, God bless. Let's have an awesome week and try to go for 5 out of 5 green.